have the shims, and then you've got your bell springs, and then you've got the back piece that has the O-ring. So this basically is the LPR. And the shims, the number of shims, is what actually changes the operating pressure of the gun. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. We are going to reassemble that in just a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the ram out. And basically what you're going to do, Angel changed the way that they do this. They used to have a pull pin here that actually was hooked, that had a hole in here where a rod went into it. They've actually kind of done something different, that actually when you screw this in and out, it actually changes the position of the ram, so you can actually take it out. So take the bolt out, set it aside, and I already removed the pin that was holding it in, so you just pull the entire thing out. This little groove right here is what you're going to line up with these pins right here that actually go into place, and this is what holds the ram into place. So again, I'm going to wipe this down, and this is one of the moving parts. This is one that you need to use a lighter grease if you possibly can. So just take a little bit. You're going to re-lube the O-rings. And I'm just going to set that aside for right now. Alright, I've got the ram and the LPR out. Now I'm going to take the exhaust valve out. Again, you're going to use one of the two extraction tools. Use the bigger one. You're actually going to thread this down in here until you feel it bite. And sometimes I get the wrong one, like I just did. Right around 10 turns, and you're just going to screw, and you're going to just slide this out. This is a little piece that actually holds the front plate on. So now that I've got this screw out, I'm actually going to use my pick, very gently pop this front plate off. Now this front plate has an O-ring around it. This is sometimes a pain to get off, but like I said, be gentle, be patient, be very careful, and you will pop this off. Basically wipe it down. This is a lot of times when people get shot, there's a lot of paint buildup around here. It's not really going to affect it, but paint does do a number on anodizing after a while, so basically make sure it's clean. Take a little bit of the lube and re-grease that up. Okay, the next thing we're taking out is the exhaust valve. I took out the pin that actually holds the exhaust valve into place, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to very gently move it forward, and I'm going to put the pick in here, and I'm going to very gently pull the valve out. Okay, the valve is something that has the two O-rings on it. You need to make sure and check that. A lot of times leaking down the barrel is with the Angel. It has a cup seal on it. This is actually the guide that goes with the front piece that sits in here, so this kind of guides into here. This has got a spring in it, so that it's kind of like the old, actually the spring's in here. It's like a spider, like any gun that actually does have a cup seal and a valve. You need to make sure that you've got this cleaned off. You need to make sure that that you re-lube these. A lot of times when you get leakage down the barrel, it's because either this is letting gas escape by, or it's actually the two valves, the valve O-rings. So I'm going to put a little bit of lube on it. And I'm going to start to reassemble. So, alright, basically, the Angel is now completely disassembled. Alright guys, to start reassembling this, I'm going to start with the exhaust valve. you're basically just going to make sure, like I said, you've lubed it up, and then you're going to put it back in its place. Now remember, you've got the little pins that hold it in, so you're going to line this up beforehand, and you're going to push it in. Like I said, a little force, but also you need to be gentle with these. You're going to wait, and I know you guys can't see this in here, but what I'm doing is lining up the hole. What I'm doing is lining up the hole that is on the valve with this pinhole. I'm going to use my pick or one of my screwdrivers, and I'm going to make sure, because I can barely see it, I'm going to move it into position, and then I'm going to take one of the pins. Again, it doesn't matter, they're all the same size. I'm going to push it in. And you got to kind of wiggle around. It should sit a little bit up. The thing about the pins is that they are actually also part of the guides for the grip frame itself. So I put that in. The next thing I'm going to do is put the ram back in. Again, you're going to line the pin up, and you're going to push this in. You've lubed it back up. Get it in the right position. Get one of the pins back out, and you're going to put it in. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is put the LPR back together. And once you get this thing out, this actually can just be pushed back in. There is no pin on the back part, but there is one of the pins on this. You just need to line the first piece up, and you're going to push it back in. Make sure the shims are all in order. And get it pretty much in position. Use your pick or your screwdriver, and you're going to put the third pin in. Should lock into place. Okay, next thing I'm going to put us for the LPR is the back cap. And it really doesn't matter what order you guys do this in, just as long as you remember where the parts go. I do it in the order that makes most sense to me when I'm disassembling and reassembling these guns. Another thing about this is these guns don't have to be super tight, just get them snug, like the part snug, and they should stay in place. Okay, we've got that in. Now that I've got the LPR back in, I'm now going to put the solenoid back in. The solenoid, you make sure that there's a little plate in there that actually has got grease on it, so I'm going to just do a tiny bit of grease on there. It's a little rubber gasket. If you don't overpressurize the gun, you really shouldn't have a problem with this. First thing you're going to do before you do anything else is take the solenoid wire, and you're going to snake it back down and through the LPR. Okay, once I've got that through, I'm going to gently pull on the wires to get them down, and then I'm going to reset the solenoid. Solenoid's got a little groove that it sits in. Just make sure that it actually is in its plate, and it should sit flush against the bottom of the receiver. Next thing I'm going to do is to lock this into place. I'm going to take the solenoid cover, and I'm going to push it. I'm going to slide it back into place. Get the screw. That's for it, and I'm going to lock this down.